Warning, we are a spoiler-based podcast. At times, we are also an offensive podcast, and we are most certainly a verbally explicit podcast. So if you fear for any of your delicate sensibilities, please back up now before you reach the point of no return. This is your final warning.
Welcome to the Cinematic Anarchy podcast. I thank you for tuning in once again. I'm Chris, and with me today we have my co-hosts Omar.
Hello, everybody.
And Miss B.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about a lovely little movie called Bulletproof Monk.
Yes.
A.K.A. Stifler Does Karate.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Oh my god, I couldn't take him
It's true.
seriously.
Yeah.
If you've seen American Pie, obviously, that's what you think of when you see Sean William Scott. It's tough to separate that persona from everything else that he does.
No, that's who he is.
I had that trouble when I watched The Rundown with The Rock.
Yeah.
It was a tough movie to kind of separate the Stifler attitude from, because he kind of was a wise ass throughout the entire movie. That's what Sean William Scott does well. And conspicuous by his absence is Mr. Zeph. This was a movie that he had chosen, so thank you, Zeph. I'll go ahead and shout that out real quick.
Yeah.
It was a very good choice of a movie.
Yes.
I like the action.
I love the cheesy action.
Yeah, it was very cheesy.
Very cheesy, very exaggerated.
So I mentioned this to Omar in a conversation that we had just a little bit earlier. Well, I liked the movie. I felt, as I did with a lot of movies that came out at that time, that it would have played better as a television pilot, as a series, because a lot of films at that time, they were trying to build these like comic book franchise movies, and they're like, we're going to tell this fantastic origin story, which almost always just fell a little bit short.
Yeah.
Unless you've actually invested the time to go and grab the comic and read the series and say, okay, I see where you're going there, what's next?
True.
Any average just, hey, I want to go see a movie kind of guy is going to go out and say,
Yeah, Bulletproof Monk.
that was missing something. What's going on?
Yeah. I think that, the lack of continuity, I think it made it feel like a TV pilot itself.
Yeah.
And it would have made an interesting TV show, because what we were talking about earlier also, about how the guy got corrupted by power. That would have made an interesting TV show, because it will be every episode turned between the seduction of that actual power and the will and need to help others. It would be pretty dope. It would be like one of those Marvel superheroes that save the world but have anger management issues or are narcissistic or something like that.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. I felt it fell a little short in the end. There were a few things that just...
He made up for it in the chase on foot, though. He wasn't short on that.
So anyway, we'll go around.
That lasted way too long.
That foot chase, yeah. Just,
that chase on foot lasted way too long.
Too many movies that focus on running. Just saying. So first impressions. Overall.
It was good. It wasn't bad. It was just... I see why it got mixed reviews. There were certain things that were just too much of, like that chase. The cheesy action, those cheesy action moments were way too cheesy.
They're like flying and shit, and
the whole flying and sliding into the floor.
The way they're like moving around, you can tell like they're on a harness.
The obvious special effects made it way too cheesy, I think.
So that was one of the handful of movies that they took from.
They did.
Crouching Tiger for Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, the sliding through.
Flying Dragon? Hidden Dragon?
No, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Man, just brain skipped a beat.
I think one of the best martial arts movies, to me, one of my favorites of all time. Hidden Tiger. But yeah, they had a lot of special effects that were just blatantly obvious on purpose, probably for humor value, I guess. Because some of that stuff, when I saw it, it made me laugh. It didn't make me laugh before when I first saw it, but now I'm like, the hell? Why? I mean, I'm sure you had more money than that, you know?
I'm sure they invested plenty of money in this movie. And
I think it all went to promotion.
your first impressions, I'm sorry.
Oh, my first impressions.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, I thought this was a great movie for like what they were trying to put off.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't trying to make it this like amazing thing.
Yeah.
But
they weren't trying to do
that little like effective like humor and comedy with Stifler and all that shit. Like they
And
they were trying to make it funny with Stifler.
Right. They were like, we know what he's good at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like overall I liked the movie. I loved the cheesy action and like the fight scenes. Like it's nicely choreographed.
Well, that it
That
was.
is true.
That it was.
I felt while watching the movie, nothing against Sean William Scott, but martial arts movies probably not his
No,
forte
absolutely not.
at all. Jamie King was actually pretty damn good in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, you got our information up here. Jamie King. What was the name of the character that she was playing in the movie?
Jade.
Jade. That's
Mhm.
correct. Right, in the House of Jade. Fought for love in the House of Jade. I keep forgetting that whole.
Jade.
You fight with 50 cranes
Uh-huh.
flying above. The whole prophecy throughout the entire movie. And I think she was actually great in her role. Him, on the other hand, a lot of his fight scenes, you could tell he relied on everybody else to kind of pull their weight to make him look good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It is what it looked like.
However, at the handling of the staff, you could tell he put a little bit of practice into that near the end before he, dropped it. And it makes me wonder if like that was intended or if that was like an accident. They're like, actually that works. We should leave it right there.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of trial and error where certain things you could tell that just it wasn't pre-planned too well and it just happened there and they decided keep it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you guys felt this way, but the main Nazi guy in the movie, I did not really like him all that much. I didn't get that feeling. I couldn't connect with him as a villain. He sounded a little too much like the guy from the Highlander movies.
Yes. Oh my god.
True. It is
Christopher Lambert. This guy, whose name I am not remembering. Carl Roden. Carell Roden?
Carell Roden.
Carell Roden.
And he has played a great villain in so many other movies. However, in this one, I'm not sure if they did that intentionally too, because he's not a bad actor.
I feel the other guy, the guy that was the leader of the underground gang, was a much better villain. He was more intimidating.
Yeah.
More convincing.
What was it? Fucktastic or
Mr.
Fucktastic?
Fantastic.
If it was Mr. Fucktastic, that would have been a lot more
See,
fun.
that like
It
that's
would-
what
that would have
sucks
been even
because,
better.
Like the necklace covered the end on his chest,
Right.
It did.
and like the way he said it, just
Yeah.
okay.
Mr.
Well then.
Mr. Fantastic.
I think he was a far better villain. That entire group was more charismatic than the Nazi and his daughter
Yes,
ever would have
absolutely.
He was way more entertaining for sure because
A
he
little more
was
believable
Mr.
villain.
Fantastic.
And I'm
He
sad-
was a larger than life character
He's a
trying
very
to
colorful character.
be. Yeah.
He wasn't in a lot of films. The actor, he was not in a lot of films after that.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad about that. I'm gonna go hunt down a couple of them.
He did good with this.
He was pretty charismatic. One of those. I could have sworn he was like the main bad guy. Not the main bad guy, because
No.
obviously that was Demi Moore. But from the second Charlie's Angels movie, there was one of the boyfriends near the beginning of the movie kind of came back into one of the girls' lives, and he was like a real bad guy at the beginning. I thought that was him, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. So Marcus John Perez, the name of the guy, and that was his first movie.
I got my researcher over here. He's got his stuff up and running. My phone is.
At least in Hollywood, that was his first movie. It says first came into the Hollywood scene when he landed the role of Mr. Fantastic in MGM's Bulletproof Monk.
And not a lot of traction after that.
Yeah.
He did La Femme Musketeer 2004, Supernova 2005.
Like I'm saying, I think he needs to have a little bit more. I mean,
Viceroy's House. Why does that sound like some fashion thing, right?
Yeah.
Really curious about La Femme Musketeer, because that could either be
Really good, huh?
it could either be really good or it could lean towards the last movie that we saw, which ended up being an awkward bit of softcore porn from Troma.
La Femme Musketeer.
Definitely need to do a little more research than last time.
I've watched La Femme Nikita. That was a fantastic movie.
So you're afraid that La Femme Musketeer will be more like Emmanuel does sword fighting?
Well, after watching Romeo and Juliet for the podcast last week, I've learned better than to just invite people into my home and just sit down and say, let's watch a movie I've never seen before.
You might want to catch a trailer first, and I will definitely catch a trailer.
Yeah.
I caught a trailer for the movie, and it did not really allude to what you were going to watch when you actually watched it. It showed you some weird things, but it didn't tell me that I was going to watch an entire movie about incest.
Man, Seth is probably not here with us today because he's probably in therapy from watching that movie next to you.
I wouldn't doubt it.
He's at home right now with a Brillo pad and soap in the shower going, unclean, unclean, unclean. He had to sit next to me for that movie twice. Not just once, twice.
Oh, God.
So
super weird.
Shout out to Seth. You're a real warrior for that one. Because I would have at least found a way to fall asleep just not to watch it next to another grown man.
Yeah, the fact that he still speaks to me amazes me. So back to Bulletproof Monk. All in all, like I said, it was a great film. It fell a little short because it was one of those things you could tell that they were trying to build a franchise. They wanted to leave it open enough to be able to say, hey, if this thing flies, we're going to make a sequel.
Yeah.
I think because it didn't hit the runway to fly, let alone fly, I guess they left it at that. But yeah, that's what it felt like they were trying to do.
Definitely a great vehicle for Jamie King. Chow Yun-Fat got to show his skills. And in all honesty, for Sean William Scott, while it was a good film, it was not one of his best.
And I gotta say, for such a good martial artist, Chow Yun-Fat is not a bad actor at all. He can act.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good actor. And I think it would have been, I don't know, something fell short of their chemistry, like the combination of them. Like it sounded like a good idea it sounded like a good idea until I watched it. I don't think the chemistry wasn't that good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it sounds great on paper, because Chow Yun-Fat is serious, but in most of his movies, he's the guy that's willing to laugh and make a fool of himself, kind of like Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
It was a great movie with Chow Yun-Fat. Not a lot of people agree, but The Replacement Killers.
The Replacement Killer was good.
Oh.
If you ever heard of a movie called The Corruptor, it was him and Mark Wahlberg. It was pretty badass, but a lot of stuff happened where the guy didn't have to be, such a serious head throughout the movie.
He had a series. He was trying to become like, I want to say, kind of the next Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
There was a handful of guys that came over that were trying to...
He had that element to him in his beginning.
Tony Jaa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes?
It has nothing to do with any of these movies or anything, but he was like one of my favorite martial artists, like actors of all time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
I've seen him. He's dope.
But
this guy, Chow Yun-Fat, he should try something like that, probably with somebody else.
There was like four of them that I could remember specifically. There was Chow Yun-Fat, there was Jet Li, of course Jackie Chan, and then there was that one guy who flew like way under the radar. It was like Sammo Hung.
Sammo Hung.
who's actually very good in his own right.
And he's not a bad actor and a very good martial artist.
But he flew way under the radar.
Yeah, he went under because he got pigeonholed as a villain. Most of the movies that he did.
Okay.
Then Jet
Big
Li.
full of water. Pardon me.
I think Jet Li was too much Bruce Lee for having that balance. He came off as way too serious. I don't know if you saw this movie Romeo Must Die. I kind of felt bad for the guy because they put him in a role that he's not as good as an actor as Chow Yun-Fat.
Yeah.
Way better martial artist, but not as good an actor.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. He's kind of... I don't even know how to describe it. He's kind of got like a goofy charisma to him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't seem like he's like a serious guy. So.
No, he's actually very charismatic, but only like for 5 seconds.
I want to say like he could be like a Sean William Scott martial artist. Like he's got that kind of goofy charisma to him, but he's also fantastic in martial arts.
Yeah.
Didn't translate to a lot of the films that kind of pitch him
Exactly. Yeah, he couldn't balance that. He was either one very good martial art, so it didn't leave that much room for the funny. Most of his movies are very, very serious. I don't know if you all have watched a movie called Hero.
No, I can't say that I've seen
He was amazing in that. It was a movie he did in China about the dynasty and stuff, and it was basically just imagine a spy movie set on Imperial China.
Miss B is now looking that up.
Year 1000.
Okay,
Lots of action.
We're talking over you quite a bit, Miss B. We'd like to hear
Lots
your
of betrayal and deceit.
No. I've been super quiet.
Whoever hasn't watched Hero should watch Hero with Jet Li.
Let me find this.
Okay. I have one movie I do have queued up for Jet Li. It was that movie War.
Great.
Jason Statham, Jet Li.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I did see that. Yeah.
I have not seen it.
I always love
So
Jason
that's-
Statham movies.
Yeah, Jason Statham.
I love him.
I do
Very
have
good in
those
action
two
movies
movies on Blu-ray queued up for us to watch the Crank movies.
Yes, absolutely.
Crank is crazy.
Crank is great.
But my favorite movie by him was the Bank Job.
What about the Transporter?
I
Yes.
like the Bank Job better because I root
Transport
for the
movie is
villains,
incredible.
and I love a good heist movie. So the Bank Job was not only a true story, but it was very good.
Okay, so this is Hero.
All right, Hero. And this is the film you said that was filmed in China.
Yeah, it's a Chinese movie.
There you
Okay.
go.
I did.
So
Hero was crazy.
I'm gonna look this over. You two chat amongst yourselves for a minute.
Yep.
Okay, so
Y'all gotta carry the conversation for a sec.
So that Bulletproof Monk, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
It was entertaining. It was very entertaining. But since we're here to dissect and nitpick, it was a movie that I probably would have enjoyed better watching, like with a kid.
yeah, like I watched it last night at like midnight, and then again this morning, and I fell asleep this morning when I was watching it. But like I wanted to bring like my boyfriend's son in so like we can watch it all together and all this like hello family movie day.
He fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
Oh.
I was really tired this morning.
Well, that happens too.
Yeah, but
that's a movie that I would have probably enjoyed watching with like my youngest son, who is
Yeah.
14 now. But as a grown up sitting out watching a movie like that, it was, I'm not gonna say boring. It's just like Christopher said, it fell short.
yeah,
So
I enjoyed it. I like the cheesiness, but like it.
That is deep.
I couldn't stop laughing the entire movie because it's Stifler.
Yeah, he's funny even when he's serious. That
exactly.
you gotta give him that.
So with the movie, and I feel this works for a lot of movies that came out in and around that time. Even a lot of movies adapted off of comic books.
Yeah.
The movie only works if your hero is just as strong a character as your villain is. If you don't have an equally compelling villain for the hero to fight against, and this is why I was saying I think Funktastic was the better villain there. That should have been the
Absolutely.
focus, not the Nazi.
Yeah.
I know what they were going for there, but that is really...
They should have kept going with him.
The thing is that this guy, Roden, he's a more experienced actor, more established, so
Yeah.
you will see how movie politics play, Hollywood politics, whatever you want to call it, might have played a part there. I'm not saying they did, but they might have.
Probably.
Because this guy has done a lot of stuff that are, known.
Right.
And not bad movies. I don't know if you ever seen a British movie. One of my favorite crime movies, because it was a crime comedy, Rock and Roller.
Yes.
He played that Russian guy that.
It has been a while.
Yeah, he was in there.
That was a Gerard Butler?
Gerard Butler was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
I don't
watch
know.
this.
You never seen that?
I don't think I did.
Oh, it's British, made in Britain.
Okay, well, I love Brit.
It was Gerard Butler and Idris Elba, and they were like
Okay.
co-thieves. They were
That
criminals
sounds really
together.
Familiar.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Paul Giamatti was in that too.
Paul Giamatti and Ludacris was in it.
Oh my god.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah. I'll probably put it on when I get home.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
You will love the first heist scene because you're expecting a lot of action to happen.
Well, that movie
And
did not.
You'll see.
Well, that
No
movie
spoilers.
did not
You'll see.
really pan out too well in the theaters.
Yeah.
I feel that movie and there was a handful of others that really, I want to say, brought action movies, like current action movies, up like another level.
They made them step it up.
You
Yes. A lot of things with action was kind of stagnant.
You know, and I appreciate where we've gotten to. That they're not pulling punches as much anymore. You don't see a lot of boring action movies anymore. Sometimes the characters can be a little boring and don't pull the movie all the way through, but there's still things you watch.
They're not doing a lot of Steven Seagal type stuff nowadays.
Oh no. Oh thank God.
Oh no.
Steven Seagal.
My personal opinion.
They're still pulling Steven out of the mothballs every once in a while.
It doesn't reflect the opinion of anybody else, but I'm sure others will agree that he is the James Bond for rednecks.
Yes.
Have you? I think you've gotten to sit down and watch it at this point. The China Salesman on Netflix.
Oh my God! Yes. Wow.
The only reason I sat down and watched that movie was because I was told that there is a scene in the movie where Steven Seagal fights Mike Tyson.
Yep.
And I was like,
yep.
And this entire movie, it actually revolves around like this China salesman, this guy that's trying to sell. He's trying to sell Wi-Fi, basically, a Wi-Fi setup to a third world country, and he's in there bidding with other people. And Mike Tyson ends up being the main bad guy of the film, alongside technically a bad guy played by Steven Seagal, who ends up being sort of that bad guy that strafes across the moral line to help out the good guy.
Yeah.
But he's still a bad guy. Yeah, just as this
His
one
morals
scene
are just a little out of whack.
where
He did.
Steven Seagal's
you'll
fist
see.
connects with Mike Tyson's face and just the ripple. They slowed it down to have that ripple effect,
I love that stuff. I love those scenes.
The movie itself, it's funny, maybe because it was so bad, but it's entertaining to watch because you're not expecting certain things. If you didn't know Mike Tyson was in it before you sat down and watched the movie, you really be surprised to see Mike Tyson. Lisp and all.
He honestly pulled off the bad guy thing a bit. Lisp and all, he pulled
He
it
did.
off.
He wasn't bad. It wasn't bad acting.
I can almost never take Mike Tyson seriously when he's acting.
It was just funny
Yeah.
because of that and just the fact that he's there.
Well, and 90% of the movie didn't require him to act across from anybody. So almost the entire film was him directing troops from the inside of a tank.
Yeah.
So you didn't see him actually acting against other people outside of maybe a fight scene or two. And then it was just him kind of just doing his lines.
Yeah.
Which works better for him.
True.
It's a lot like the unexpected presence of Mike Tyson in The Hangover.
Okay, yeah.
That you saw him, you're like,
No shit.
this got interesting.
Yeah.
Just in case, I'm just going to put this out here, just in case, Mike Tyson or any of his friends ever listen to this. I'm not being overly critical of you. Please don't come and find me and kill me. I'm just saying, you know, you did a
None
great
of us
job in
can
this
take a
movie.
hit.
Actually,
From you, at least.
Actually, Mike Tyson is a good sport. He probably won't care that
Oh,
we're
I
saying
believe it.
this as long as we don't attack his character. Much respect to Mike.
I feel like I would be Will Smith in that song that he sang. I think I could beat Mike Tyson. He said, "One punch to the gut and my bowels released." I feel like I'd be that guy.
He can still. Yeah, probably he could still hit that hard.
Shit, he could
But I saw
break in
him.
half.
I saw him knock down some guys way taller than him back in the day.
I'm a physically unfit white guy. Even if he could only hit half as hard as he used to hit, he'd still probably knock me on my ass. So, just saying, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. You know.
I saw a lot of Mike Tyson fights back in back in his heyday, on his prime, when he was like the youngest heavyweight champion ever. And I don't think that of all the Mike Tyson fights I sat through, if you put them all together, it will be like a complete 12-round fight. He will kill people in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike. He hit hard.
Try to figure out how we got from point A to point B here. So anyway, now that we're done talking about Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal, and
Who will probably do great alongside Chow Yun-Fat in the movie.
Yes.
That will probably be super funny.
That would be a great
She'll be
movie.
probably arguing through the whole thing.
so, and I may not be remiss to say this. I think as a martial arts movie, Bulletproof Monk, if you had taken Sean William Scott out of it and just left Jamie King, would have been a fantastic movie. 'Cause
Absolutely.
She was a badass the
She
entire
was
movie.
Fantastic throughout the movie.
And,
I think he was funny in it, Stifler, but something about their chemistry, like together, kind of didn't compute with
Right.
me.
Yeah, no.
I saw. That's the thing. He was Stifler.
Stifler
Hitting on some girl. It's just.
the whole him like trying to get her, like he stole her necklace, her mother's necklace.
Right.
Like he's a fuckboy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Essentially, yeah.
He's a fuckboy.
It's who he was in that.
That's who he's probably always gonna play in every movie. And I'm sorry, Sean, but
Yeah, I mean,
that's you.
he kind of got pigeonholed to that. It is the sad fact, and I'm sure he's not a bad actor.
So I the thing is that I think that, I mean, I've seen a lot of things that Jamie King has been in, and like I've never really seen her in action movies.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there was more focus on her in that movie, her career would have taken a completely different direction. You know, she probably would have had a lead in that movie, Sucker Punch or something.
Oh,
you know,
God.
she was certifiable badass
I
in the
want to
movie.
put that on the list too.
I think so too. I totally agree. She would have been at that level of making certain movies that other actresses, like for example Angelina Jolie,
Right.
have made. Which I'm in no way saying she's a bad actress, but I think Jamie would have done a better action movie.
Agreed. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break to go ahead and talk up the fantastic folks at Podcoin. All right, so getting in with the second half of the podcast here, we're going to go back to our pitch storm routine. We had a little bit of fun last podcast doing it, so we're going to keep trying it out. That is which we go ahead and draw out a character, plot, and note card, and then we try to cast and basically hash out a full movie based off of those cards that we've placed out. So, we'll go ahead and I'll start with the plot cards. We'll have Miss B draw a card here.
Woo! Alright.
Pick a card, any card.
Alright.
Alright. And then, for the character cards, Mr. Omar, go ahead and we dropped one. There we go. We'll go ahead and draw a card there. Alright, we don't want to just draw off the top of the deck. Alright. And I...
Oops. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay, well, I will pick up the cards off the floor. No. Let's see. Go ahead and fan those out, and I'm just going to grab a random one right here in the middle of everything. Alright, so... Let's see, where's your card is here, sir. You kind of got away from us there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and read this out. A young, hot William Shakespeare discovers the Fountain of Youth.
Yes.
Great idea. This movie needs to have a positive message about cyberbullying. Bullying.
If anybody knows about that, you know it's Shakespeare.
All right, yeah, but I was gonna
Especially
say,
when he was young.
Yeah.
so we have to have a movie about a young, hot William Shakespeare that has to deal with cyberbullying.
Okay, so Ezra Miller as William Shakespeare.
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. Oh my gosh, hang on. Have you seen We Need to Talk About Kevin?
Nope, I can't
Okay.
say that I have.
What else?
Hey,
Was
do you
He's
know
been
Ezra
in
Miller?
A ton of things. Perks of Dating a Wallflower. I think he was in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I need a visual. Can you get me a visual so I can picture our William Shakespeare here?
Ezra Miller, yeah.
All right. So we're discussing a young Ezra Miller as William Shakespeare, the young hot William Shakespeare, not the old bald William Shakespeare, but Ezra Miller.
Yes.
The Flash.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God. Why didn't I even think of that?
See, there we go.
True.
You got to talk to my brain.
Okay. When I think of the Flash, I think of like the show.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Different guy
Yeah.
altogether.
Completely different guy.
No, because the movie
Yeah,
Flash.
yeah.
You know, they're still trying to get his movie made.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, okay. So
Okay.
Ezra
So
Miller,
Ezra Miller as William Shakespeare.
So let's say we're not going to go with the base girl that you would think of for a Shakespeare type movie. No Juliet here. We'll go with the one that came before Juliet a little bit. Rosaline.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to have a Rosaline for this movie. Now, before we cast Rosaline, we're talking young hot William Shakespeare discovers the Fountain of Youth. So we're thinking the old William Shakespeare discovers the Fountain of Youth, becomes young hot William Shakespeare. However, somehow, this Fountain of Youth also, as he's aging backwards, has managed to transport him into a more modern time.
Yes.
So he ends up here in sort of a 18 again kind of thing.
What's her name? I have an idea for the chick.
So I've got a lot of young actresses stuck in my
Aubrey
head.
Plaza.
Oh, that would actually work.
Ezra Miller and Aubrey Plaza would be an amazing movie.
I think we should add other literary
If you guys hear this,
figures.
please.
So let's see. I'm gonna give old William Shakespeare. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a dusty old guy out of the mothballs, and I say, as old William Shakespeare, we go ahead and pull what's his name? Sir Sean Connery out of the mothballs.
Yeah.
He stumbles across the Fountain of the Youth, stumbles into the Fountain of Youth. Of course, you're gonna end up having to see old Mr. Connery's butt during this whole thing, but whatever. When he comes to and he stumbles out of this fountain, which is now somehow like the central fountain in Central Park, New York, or something, right?
Yeah.
Stumbles out of this fountain and immediately stumbles across Rosaline.
Yep.
Transported into the future. Okay, so let's go from there.
I think we could add other literary figures to this whole mix. They all find the Fountain of Youth. Walt Whitman, others.
Well, I think maybe have them kind of.
No, but he's gonna travel through time. He's gonna meet these people in his travels.
So we're kind of taking a William Shakespeare meets Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure approach to this.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay, I'm down.
Yep.
I feel also some of the central figures in Rosaline's life. We can call her Rosie in the movie, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
Rose.
Also have derivatives of names from Shakespearean plays.
Yes. Okay.
So you have like a Henry King, something of that nature.
Yep.
I don't know what would be a derivative of Othello.
The guy.
No?
That dude.
I can't think of a derivative of that name, to be honest with you. But yeah,
Ollie.
she's just surrounded.
Ollie.
Ollie might work.
Yeah.
Oliver.
That actually might work as well. Okay. Let's try
Yeah.
this.
I think those. But I want him to travel through times and meet other literaries through his travels. and lands over here and meets somebody that probably wrote something that could be somebody that could be perceived as somebody that's pretty crazy.
So, in that vein, Fountain of Youth is a temporary effect. So it lasts for, say, a week. And then he slowly progresses back into the Sean Connery character.
Yes.
That version of William Shakespeare. And he has to stumble back into it, which again transports him to another area.
Well, he knows now where it is, so...
How do we stick Aubrey as the main female
Love interest,
though? So is that like the first person he runs across, and then he stumbles back in, ends up someplace else, and he keeps kind of popping up from fountain to fountain to fountain?
I think in his travels, he's gonna see different Roseanne, different times that he comes into
Different
his
lives.
travels. He'll meet Aubrey Plaza, different reincarnations of Rosalind.
So like one genetic line.
Yeah.
Just he keeps
Basically.
stumbling across the same girl, but she's like, this person's this
Yeah.
original
Tie
girl's
in the
great-great-grandmother.
Also, because Juliet will be too cliche.
See, now
That's
that's what
what
we've
will be.
forgotten. How do you incorporate cyberbullying into the
Have
whole
Shakespeare. Oh my God! Have Shakespeare make a Facebook page.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so like, I want this should be like comedic, but have Aubrey Plaza like, I don't know,
Just
be a
turn
web
him-
designer,
Turn him onto Facebook.
and she like, fucking teaches him like what the internet is and how he can find all these fucking everything out with the click of a button. And she makes him a Facebook page, and then
Somehow, when he stumbles into this fountain, it doesn't affect the phone. He's still able to connect with her through Facebook.
yes,
Yeah, that would be cool. Because he took it from one time to others. But yeah, I think the one way that we could make it click is if he only gets to interact in that way with this version of Rosaline when he gets to modern times. So basically, he's going through other 1800s, 1700s, even times before him, and met, different versions of that woman. But they all pretty much dubbed him. They pretty much curbed him.
let's say like this.
They don't
modern-
care for him.
This is the one that does.
let's
This
say,
is the
like,
one that kind of does somewhat.
the modern Aubrey Plaza life version, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's like a web designer, a programmer, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
She could be a
say,
hacker.
Say like say she's a hacker. Fucking. She's already got a man who's like well into the social media business or whatever. She's already dating someone, and like William Shakespeare comes across her, and he's like, "Oh well, hey, how you
being
doing?
Shakespeare.
How you doing?"
Shakespeare being Shakespeare.
This guy that Rose is already dating loses his mind and gets all his social media buddies to gang up on William.
Yep.
Meanwhile, as he's falling into the fountain over and over and over again, running across other literary figures, I'm picturing you got Ezra Miller popping up around Edgar Allan Poe, and he's taking selfies with these guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Walt Whitman.
Yeah, Walt Whitman. Hey, throw Mary Shelley in there, a little.
Yeah.
Just famous authors in literature.
Yeah.
Charles Dickens.
Gay club in the
Jane
1800s,
Austen.
stuff
Yes.
like
That
that.
would be actually around his area,
Yeah. Yeah, and he could meet with all these people, probably go back to his own era, and whatever literary figures of that era he could share his experiences with, and it will be pretty cool.
He's got a whole Facebook feed of him just taking selfies with all these people, She teaches him the selfie.
She,
Aubrey
yeah,
Plaza's boyfriend
she has taught me the selfie.
should be Chris Evans,
Oh,
but
right.
like his character from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
I see
yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
That same character.
Yeah, just a complete
Yeah.
fuckboy dick.
He was
Yes.
he was an asshole, man. Certified.
Like he was like one of those like. There's no way to really rectify how much of an asshole. he
There's
was.
no, yeah, there's
He's
no,
a Kyle.
Justify
no,
it.
there's no defending that guy. He is a Kyle.
He is a Kyle.
Definitely a Kyle.
Sorry to
There's-
all the Kyles out there, but
It's like,
the
you
good
better-
Kyles, at least.
yeah.
The cows that the cows are meant to about, not you. The good cows. But yeah, that's true. There's no defending that guy.
Kyle.
They,
No,
Listen.
absolutely not.
they really made sure they didn't put one redeeming quality in that character.
That's
Not
the point,
one.
I think.
Yeah,
All right, I think that's fairly well. How do we end that? How do we end the movie?
Either she goes to his time or he stays in hers. Or both. They visit each other through time travel. They have a long distance relationship.
Long distance relationship.
I mean, he can communicate through his cell phone and he can just
If he
visit.
goes back in time, back to like his own time, he wouldn't be able to communicate with her through the cell phone because there's no service anywhere.
Well, that's what I was saying. If you near the beginning, I was saying
There's gotta be
when he
something.
gets into the fountain, somehow the fountain messes with the phone and makes it so when he's traveling
Okay,
back and
so,
forth,
like,
he can
it's
still communicate.
Still like a time travel phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the fountain turns it
Well, we're
into
talking
time travel.
We're talking about a
keep a long distance relationship through the phone if that's the case.
We're talking about a time traveling fountain movie with William Shakespeare. We've already thrown a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, there's a lot of logic that is not necessarily.
We've taken that hot tub time machine to another level.
Yeah, right now they're gonna be an aspiring psychiatrist doing their thesis on us right now. Yeah, hope you graduate with honors.
Haven't run across Sigmund Freud or something. You know?
Hope you graduate with honors.
I fall in love with every one of these women. So basically, I loved her, and I loved her grandmother, and I loved her great grandmother, and her great great grandmother, and they all rejected me until her.
No, they don't have to be. They don't necessarily have to be the descendants of each other.
Just somebody that looks the same.
Just somebody, just
doppelgangers.
reincarnate. Yeah, don't forget reincarnations.
Well, yeah, I mean, why ground any of it in reality?
According to some people that believe in reincarnation, certain personality traits travel.
So the soul's the same, not necessarily the person.
Yeah.
Exactly. So certain traits will travel, and you can use that as a basis to that part of the plot.
Sounds good.
We are crazy.
So I say we end it. We end the movie, right? He's decided to go back to his time. He didn't like the idea of the phone and blah 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 blah, and he gives it back to her, and she kind of somehow slips it onto him. So when he goes back, he realizes he still has the phone. Right?
I think he should probably first realize that he misses her when he's in his time,
He gets
living his
home,
normal, back to his
like-
element.
He gets home in his like lonely little house with like one single candle on the table. He's just like sitting there in his chair with like scotch or whiskey or something. He's just damn.
And
then,
looking at things happening outside his window and going like this, trying to enhance it.
And then like his like
Yeah.
if the phone goes off, you hear a buzzing or like a beep or whatever the fuck, and like
He
finds
gets
it,
super happy.
and it's just a message from her, hey,
Right.
and that's it.
Yeah. That probably would be a great
Okay,
ending.
I went to a much greater length. Would have made it a longer movie in my head. Much greater length. Like I pictured him like he's sitting here and he's penning one of his famous works. He's like just kind of depressed a little. He's got a little little bit of a cough. Wow. Anyway, he's got a little bit of depression going on. You know, a little bit of mental block, and he's trying to figure out how to get past that. And he's kind of a little. You see him just kind of scribbling her name at the bottom of whatever he's writing on the parchment that he's writing on, and then he feels a buzz. Bzz, what the hell was that? Picks up the phone and like, hey, right? So he starts texting back and forth a little bit. Somebody comes in and he drops the phone, like just thing shatters. He doesn't know what broken phone means, can't get the thing back. She's not responding to him, or he's not responding to her anymore.
Damn.
Prompts her to hop back in the fountain to go back after him.
Yes, okay, I like that.
And then like the end credit sequence is literally just you have like just little parts where she pops up and she's talking to one literary figure or another until finally she gets to Will.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the credits is them reuniting.
I love it.
That could easily be a TV show. There's the endless possibilities to that plot there.
I like the idea of a movie literally you can't stop watching the movie until the credits are over.
Yep.
Not like in Marvel fashion, but part of the movie is literally happening through the credits.
And I love how much we've talked about cyberbullying into the whole plot.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
I think we skipped over the cyberbullying part. Chris Evans had just such a non-effective role in the whole movie in our heads. We were like, Chris Evans is an asshole.
That's about it.
That's it.
He gets his friends to cyberbully, and she's like, "No, fuck you."
And then it's over.
And that's about it. Don't cyberbully, guys.
Don't cyberbully. Don't be a Chris Evans.
Say no to cyberbullying.
I think that works out well. Do you think we have time for another, or do you think maybe we should wrap it up?
Somebody in at least to just do something for the cyberbullying. Should shoot up a school over the bullying and stuff, or something.
Well, I don't know. I think we're nearing the end of the run here for this time around. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm blind.
And I did want to take a few minutes to sort of reach out and say, hey, thank you if you've listened all the way through everything that we've done today. And I want to just reach out and say to you guys, if you ever want to just drop us a message, drop us a line, tell us what we've done wrong. If you don't like us or if you love us, go ahead and hop on the Anchor app. And through Anchor, you can actually leave us live messages. And we'd love to take the opportunity to get you guys involved in our show. Say something creative.
Fuck yeah!
You want to tell us to go to hell? Do it creatively, and maybe we'll play it on the next podcast. So that's right. Just go hop on the Anchor FM app and leave us a message, and we'll go ahead and peruse any messages you guys feel like sending to us.
Talk all your shit. I love it.
It takes a lot to offend us, so feel free to say who you are and where you're from. We'll shout you out. We'll shout you out either way.
Absolutely.
And I want to pardon myself for coughing throughout the entirety of the last segment here. And yes, it does take a lot to offend us. We watch Trauma. Enough said.
And this cough attack brought to you by medicine.
Or a lack thereof, for that matter. A lack of medicine. And again, sorry, Zeph. I appreciate you being here for the first 8 episodes, and hopefully we'll get you back for the next one.
Hope that therapy session from watching this with Chris the other day goes well. I hope you come out of that a new man, Seth.
Yes, I sincerely apologize for any traumatization that we may have caused. And,
we are with you in spirit.
I have no intent of paying for your therapy bills. All right.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you, guys.